Hey everyone, welcome to our first video for Calcio Bros. I'm Christian, here with my brother Luca, so we're going to talk about the pregame for Serie A this weekend. So what we have lined up for this weekend, opening day, can't wait. Aren't you excited as well, Luca?
Yeah, well, we'll see how the season goes, and every team has a chance this year. Everyone's strong. Juve, I doubt they're gonna win the Scudetto this year, so Napoli's getting up there. Roma, I think we have a better chance.
You and Roma every year, but they're eternal second. But we'll see what happens this year. It's going to be an interesting year. Juve again, like you were saying, we're not sure if they'll win, but you never know because remember that one year where they're almost relegated, but they ended up coming back and they won the title. But we'll see. Milan buying players, Roma trying to build up their team. So we'll see how we compete. So what we have here for this weekend, on the Saturday, August 19th, Juve opens up Serie A against Cagliari. Then at 2:45, Verona hosts Napoli. Two interesting games. Juve opening up Cagliari, see if they can dominate again, show why they were winning 6 titles in a row.
Because of Calciopoli, but overall, it's okay.
I guess. Yeah, well, again, that did help them, but they'll see it after now that they've let go of so many players. And now they have bought Douglas Costa. They bought Matuidi just now. Bernardeschi, they're looking more on an attack focus instead of defensive, I guess, after letting go of Bonucci, which was shock of the season, I would say.
No.
Shock of the market, maybe.
Well, if Milan didn't have that Chinese money, they wouldn't have got him anyway, so what are you going to do there?
Again, I know he wanted to stay in Italy, so that was the reasoning behind that. But again, going to Milan was an interesting choice. Do you think they can retain the title at all, or not whatsoever?
It's the first game. You can't tell by the first game. You can see if they play as a team, because the first game is more for chemistry styles. Again, that's also for friendlies, but overall, Cagliari don't have much going into it. They're probably going to lose Borriello, and their main team, Sao I think's gone too. Not too sure, but overall, I think Juve. Last year they lost to Udinese in the first game, but still won the Scudetto. So, not gonna make big of a difference in the first opening game. Yes, if Juve do lose, it's gonna be everyone. Oh yeah, here we go. But same thing with last year.
It'll be young, just I guess first official game for some of these players. Most of these played in the Super Cup, but for others it'll be the first official game together. I guess we'll see. And then Verona, one of the newcomers, playing Napoli. Napoli, again, always looked like a team to win the title last couple of years, but never managed to pull it together in the last couple of days. Do you think they'll be able to try really push forward this year?
I don't think what signings have they made? I'm trying to remember.
They didn't. They only made one really one not made 2 signings. I would say that they made Mario Rui.
But Rui did nothing at Roma.
He was injured most of the time as well, and then they did sign Adam Unas from Bordeaux.
I think he's injured now for 2 months though.
Mario Rui or
Unas. Unas is out for a while.
But again, the one thing about Napoli is that they do keep their team consistent.
Yeah, they do.
Which helps build the chemistry that they do need. The last couple of years, they have really had the chance to prove a great strike force in Italy. They did, I believe, have the most goals scored, was it? Them or Roma tied up there. But, you can see Merton scoring for fun almost every game. So they do have the attack, again, but let's see if they can stay consistent throughout the seasons with the players they have.
Yeah, well, Napoli's always Napoli, right? Sarri has good football. He knows what the game is. He knows what to do. But again, it's up to the team to decide if they want to win it this year. But I feel like they can, but there's always so many teams behind them. Napoli, Juve, Roma's there. There's Milan coming up, Inter now with Spalletti as a coach. And that was interesting for me. I love Spalletti at Roma. I'd rather him stay with us. Di Francesco, not saying the guy's a bad coach, but I don't know. It's from Sassuolo to Roma, it's a big difference.
So I guess speaking of Roma now, they open up Sunday at midday against visiting Atalanta. That's why they've always had a tricky tricky games against Atalanta. I believe they lost last year in Bergamo. I know they have let go of a few players at Atalanta, but then they did pick up players.
Like De Royne, he's a pretty...
They picked up Ilicic as well, which is a really good signing for them to make up for what they lost. They haven't really signed any other key players, I guess, other than Orsolini on loan from Juve, who is a young talent, but he hasn't really had the chance to play in a higher competition other than Serie B, but we'll see how much playing time he gets, considering Gasperini did play a lot of youngsters last year, Conti, Spinazzola, Caldara. Like, the whole team was made of youth players, and that really helped them achieve fourth place in Europa.
Conti's gone now. Spinazzola, I think, is going back to Juve, or he's injured, something like that. I'm not too sure, but overall, Atalanta's still really good at home. The home fans are really good, and there's a lot to see for the game to come. I'm still nervous for the season with Roma, to be honest. It's going to be hard for us to prove that we are contender runners this year. Because the signings we made are good.
But again, they aren't proven. Some other than Gon Alonso, who was captain of Lyon, but some of them are young.
Buffon did good at Sassuolo for what he had. Gon Alonso, again, yes, it's a very, very good sign for $5 million. I was surprised we got that from him for that much. There's Kaldrup, who's injured, who I feel like can be a good Karstrup. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. Yeah, he did a really good right. He's been a really good right back for Feyenoord. For Roma, I think him and Perez will hopefully help what we didn't have last year.
And then they also did improve their defense by signing Hector Moreno from PSV, as well as Kolarov from Manchester City, help bolster the back. Kolarov, it was Laziale, I believe, a few years back, so it's interesting to see him now play for the other side.
I loved that he did say if he scored against Lazio in the derby, he would celebrate. So I'm happy with that. I kind of hope he does score to rub in their faces, because not a huge Lazio fan since I'm a Romanista, but what can you do?
And you guys made Fazio official as well for permanent signing?
I thought he was already official last year. I wasn't too sure that we didn't sign him, but whatever.
He did play good. He's not known to be the best defender around, but he did prove last season to be one of Roma's key players.
He got team of the season last year.
And then they also signed midfielder for permanently in Shendiz Under. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that as well, but another young talent. They picked up Pellegrini as well as their midfield.
Pellegrini is an amazing sign. It's very good to help with the depth. Under, I think, will be a surprise of the season. Yes, he's a green card. He's a wild card. He's still young. He's still in 2021. Everyone's saying he's an next Dybala, but Under is Under.
Basically, to give him time to develop.
Serie A is never. Look what happened to Zeko. First year, Zeko only got like 10 goals. Next year, he became top scorer and on the top assists. Like, Serie A is not an easy league to get adapted to. So, I think we have to give people time. Like, he did good in the preseason. There's a lot of you can see he has talent. So then that's what we have to see with him.
All right, and then right after that game, the rest of Serie A is playing. So then there's Bologna Torino, Crotone Milan, Inter Fiorentina, Lazio Spal, Sampdoria Benevento, Sassuolo Genoa, and Udinese Chievo. So two key markups I see in this are Inter Fiorentina and then Crotone Milan.
I think Inter Fiorentina will be probably that, and Roma Atalanta will be the top two games of this weekend.
Which I agree with. They're going to be very entertaining. We'll see what comes of it, considering all the changes coming from both teams. Inter, managerial changes. They managed to hang on to Kandreva and Perisic for now, but who knows what happens in the next few days of the Mercato. They managed to get a few players as well. I believe they have signed Vicino, Skriniar. They signed Borja Valero, and then I guess got a backup in Padelli for Handanovic, and then a young player in Dalbert.
But they're also getting rid of Kondogbia, Medel, Murillo, so they have to reinforce that defensive line, even that defensive mid-line, because Valero's good, but he's old. He can't run as much as Kondogbia could. I'm not saying Kondogbia is better, but he has legs to run.
Mm-hmm. And Valero will bring a bit of experience to that as well. But again, as you said, he's much older. Only probably has another 1-2 years max left in him. But depends how well the season goes. At least Albert will help to reinforce the defensive stature of Inter with Skriniar as well, but we'll see how well they work at the back considering they have had trouble. And then even looking at Fiorentina's line, they lost pretty much everyone, or a lot of players. Vecino, Tatarusanu, Bernardeschi, Gonzalo Rodriguez, Valero, as we spoke, Giuseppe Rossi, Ilicic. They've lost a lot of players.
I didn't know Tatarusanu left. Who's their goalie?
I believe now it's Sportiello, who was the backup last year. Sportiello or... yes. No, not Sirigu's at Torino.
Right.
Which is a good pickup for them, speaking of that, though. But I believe it's an interesting signing, or interesting choice, by Pioli. But we'll see how that goes. They did make some good signings in Giovanni Simeone, who was really good at Genoa last year. And then they did bring in a young player, Rafik Zecchini, from Oud. We'll see how well they work. And then they did sign Marco Benassi, which is a really good signing in midfield.
That was a surprise. I'm surprised no one picked up Bazzelli yet. I feel like it would be good maybe at Napoli, Bazzelli, with the midfield line of Alan and Hamsik.
You get Diawara, Jorginho working well with them. And also looking at that game, we'll see how well that plays out. I would say maybe a draw for that game, perhaps, you think?
Spalletti never wants to draw. He fights. Pioli, I don't know. A draw or a win for Inter. I feel like Inter has a better team, more depth in that team, more strikers that are more willing to score, and Spalletti is a much better coach than Pioli. I would love for him to stay at Roma, but what are you going to do in that sense? But Pioli has had trouble in the past with coaching big teams. Like, I'm not saying Lazio was a big team, but Lazio, and then he was at Inter. He struggled there as well. So we'll see how this year wraps up.
And the other reason why I speak of Crotone Milan is because of Milan, the Chinese money, of course, and all the players they have been buying. Again, sometimes you have to spend money in order to find success, but anything else than nothing else than a Champions League place, it will be considered a failure, because then again, the FFP will hit them. And then with these players, you expect Milan to be big again. They did win this weekend big in the Europa League, but it was against a small Albanian team. So it's hard to say that they really made much. But we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. Last year they did tie against Crotone, but I'm believing with these new signings, they have a chance to achieve victory. So those are pretty much all the fixtures for this weekend. Going to be some early predictions right now. Who would you say would finish in the top four?
Not in order. I would say Roma, Milan. No. No, man, that's a tough one. Napoli for sure. Napoli, Roma, Juve. And then maybe one of the Milan teams. Like that. But not in order. It's not in order. I'm saying those... I like that, but I don't know. Remember, the real competition starts in the return on January. That's when the real
competition starts, where players are trying to get points. Exactly. With the top four, I think I would agree with you. Napoli, Roma, Juve, and then to me, I would say AC Milan. Just because they've managed to work well. They seem to be playing together more cohesively. We'll see how well they do when it comes on to this weekend. Will they play most of the starters together? And then we do have the relegation candidates. For me, I say Spal, Benevento for sure. And then either from Crotone or... Crotone, Cagliari, or Verona. It's hard to say, but again, I do say Spal and Benevento for sure. Benevento because it is their first year in Serie A, but look at Crotone last year, they managed to save themselves, but who knows if they'll be able to recapture that, and if Benevento can do the same thing. They would just have to make up a bit in the Mercato. Spal as well, but the third choice is very hard to decide right now.
Put down in the comments who you guys think will win your top four and your bottom three. We would like to know your opinions.
Yeah, and be sure to follow us on YouTube for more videos and discussions. And then follow us on Twitter. The description is down below. And hope to hear from you guys very soon.